Find yourself a booth, order up a cold one. This is the Spring Bar.
Hey everybody, welcome to the Spring Bar. Glad to have you here. I am Florida Mike, today with my co-host Casey and Joe in the OC. Gentlemen, how are you doing today?
Good.
I'm well.
You're
I am
doing
still
well.
hungover. That's the important part to remember here.
So,
Nice.
well, and for those that don't know, you were up early yesterday morning.
I was up early.
How early is early?
I woke up. Well, I mean, the game started. I had to watch the World Cup, so I was up at 5. And my first location of choice was not open, so I had to go to a second location and then drown my sorrows in Bloody Marys.
Hey, whatever works.
Well, I then it was bourbon with dinner, so I drink a lot.
So for those that don't follow what was it? The World Cup?
The World
football,
Cup,
right?
the World Cup.
See, I don't follow that either. So was it worth it? Did whoever you wanted to win or no?
No,
Oh, who was
we
even
didn't
playing?
win. The U.S. didn't win. It was awful.
Oh, the U.S. was playing?
Oh my God, Philistines! I cannot believe that I've saddled myself with such.
Well, we can already tell who's not the Patriot here. What kind of question is that? Who are you rooting for? America.
I don't know. I didn't listen. I didn't even know we had a soccer team, a national soccer team. I don't know.
Got a couple,
America,
man.
We have
Soccer
everything,
team.
and we're the best at all of it.
Wow, wow. Wow.
When you say football in America, I think pigskin and helmets and tackles and field goals.
Okay.
Oh, man, stuff. Yeah.
I don't think goal.
Well, you have to.
I don't know if you cut out just for me or for everybody, but I feel like either way, we're being censored. The internet knew.
I was a little unsure of that.
Yeah, that's okay. We didn't need to hear what you said, anyways, Joe.
Shut up.
So what do we got? New watches? Anybody got anything new? Nothing new. We didn't have anything new last time. What did Casey have something new last time?
Casey's got something. I've got something.
Oh, that's right. I know what you have, Joe. Okay, we got to discuss that. You and I don't see eye to eye on that one for one particular reason. And we'll get into.
All right. We'll do
all
Casey
right, so
first.
Casey disappeared.
I'm here. I'm here.
Oh, there he is.
I can't go very far. It's not a big room.
All right. So what do you got that's new, Casey?
It's new in the sense that I haven't shown it on the show yet. Pretty sure I haven't, but it's the Casio camera watch.
Yes.
I do remember seeing pictures of that. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
Have you got it to work?
I mean, so it does work.
Uh-huh.
I've taken photos with it. I took a photo of the Explorer with it. Damn. So this is the box it came with.
Wow. Box and papers.
Wrist camera. Wow, look at
there
that.
are some papers in here. Now the part that I haven't pieced together, and I really haven't put in a lot of effort into it. So here's the original bracelet.
All right.
Come on. But this here, you got your USB input here, and then whatever the hell for a monitor that I don't have. I need to figure out if there's some way to.
Does it have a UHF converter? You got to flip the switch on the little box and hook it up to your TV.
You got to put it on channel 3 first.
Yeah.
There you go. And then you got your RF receiver here. So it would have obviously transmitted through RF too.
Wow.
Let's see what else. So here
you found a way to get the pictures on a screen.
And a CD that's never been opened, new in box.
Yeah, I was confused at first. I thought this was a coaster. JK, I know very much so what CDs are. But no, I
do you
don't
know what
wanna
a
open
UHF
it.
converter is?
No,
Okay.
no.
That's how you used to play Atari and ColecoVision back in the day.
Bro, what the hell did you call me?
Oh, Casey,
But
so
so
young.
this is the instructions for whatever the F this is. So I'm sure I could find your whatever box flip thing you want me to do. And then these are all the miscellaneous papers and stuff. So
That is cool though.
yeah, it cost
It's
me
cool.
$100. So
For all the original stuff, that's pretty cool.
yeah, I couldn't resist. I was like, yeah, let's do it.
So now the pictures you take, do they show up in black and white on that little screen, I assume?
Yes. Let me go put this box back. All right, so let's see.
Oh, look at that. That's actually not horrible.
It really isn't for how small this camera is. But that's
Yeah.
supposed to be an Explorer 1.
So have you gotten the pictures on screen yet or no? Like on a computer screen?
I have not yet. I need to figure out how I can transfer that stuff.
That's nuts, man. Well,
Oh,
you're gonna have to start posting some pictures taken with your 3 megapixel camera.
Yeah, take a picture with your watch and then take a picture of your watch with the picture on it that you took of a watch. It's like a mirror and a mirror and a mirror type of thing.
It is. It
Oh,
would be
yeah.
the photocopy of your butt that's been too
Yeah.
grainy to use for anything else.
So that's actually pretty cool.
It is really
pretty
neat.
Yeah.
It is really neat. Did you get anything while you were on vacation, Mike, or was that it?
I saw some stuff. I sent you some pictures of a Sega design that I was able to try on.
Yeah.
That Richard Mille style squared off raised case
Yeah.
design they have. It wasn't bad. It was better. It was better than I thought it was going to be. I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
It was better than I thought it was going to be. Went to downtown Old San Juan, where I came across a Breitling AD.
Yeah.
Actually, they had quite a few things inside of there. Didn't go inside. I was with my girlfriend and my daughter. They were unimpressed to go spend their vacation looking at watches. So I just got to peer through the window, saw a few things. It was pretty cool. But I didn't come back with anything. I didn't buy anything. However, if you give me another 10 minutes here, I might be able to tell you about something I'm about to buy on eBay. So Joe, why don't you go ahead? We'll see if we can make it to 7:00 here.
All right. I got this came in.
So you finally.
Yep. This is a Bulova Commodore.
Mhm.
This is a ladies version. It's about 35 millimeters, and I need to get some links for the bracelets on like a really interesting kind of brick style bracelet or beads of rice.
And it does it well too. That's a cool bracelet for that.
It is. It's a really neat package. Like I saw one up at an AD and looked at it. I'm like, that. Let me try on that. Not recognizing that it was supposed to be a ladies piece, not seeing, because it doesn't come across that way. It wears really, really well. It's a limited edition. There are 350 pieces. This is in the mid 300s. So working great, man. I like it.
What's weird about those? Now that's out of the Joseph Bulova collection.
Correct.
Okay. Limited, the Salida
200 SW 200
SW 200 in there. They show the back of that because they don't have a full exhibition case back.
They do not.
It has a little window at the top.
You got the Joseph Bulova signature down below it. You've got a 1875 and then limited edition. It's a neat, nice little package. Signed rotor that takes up half of the display case back the semi-display case back.
So here's the thing. Here's your and I little not a disagreement, but you see it differently than I do, apparently. Okay. At the 130 position, that lug, because these aren't your standard lugs, they're more of a wire lug design. Right. But at the 130 position, that lug is bent. You say it's not.
No,
but
it's not.
I say it is.
It's just kind of the way it looks because it holds everything in.
Yeah,
no, it's
not.
Right now it's from the strap.
Well, I can understand that, but when you have the picture and we'll put it up here too, we'll let the listeners decide.
Okay.
When the bracelet is in there, you can very clearly see that 130 is bent upwards and not perfectly squared with the other lug. So I feel
Oh,
like,
you're right. It is.
yeah, see,
Oh well.
you're gonna have to send that to Magic Hands and have them heat it up and reshape that, because I feel like if you tried to bend it back, it's gonna just think snap right
Probably.
off. Yeah.
Probably.
And then you'll cry because your brand new Commodore that you've been. Now, here's the cool part. Those retail for what?
Oh shoot, $1,450.
$1,400 those things retail for.
Yeah.
Damn.
I mean, it's a cool watch. I don't know if it's $1,400
It's
cool.
I don't think it's $1,400 cool, but
So you can either A, give the figure that you paid for, or B, just give a percentage off retail that you paid for that.
I got this for 90% off.
Ooh.
I mean, you stole that thing.
How did you get it? Is it eBay? You sniped it?
eBay. I think there was one bid, and I don't think the bidder was serious. So it popped up. I'm like, okay, I'll watch it, and then it didn't move. Like, all
Yeah.
right.
So it was a no box, no papers thing, but
Yeah.
from the description, it says it's pretty rough, the case. And from
It's
the
not
pictures you
that
showed me,
it's not that bad. It's been worn. It's been loved. So there's some dings kind of by the crown. There's just the part of the case back is a little marred, but it's not horrible. I mean, come on, considering the other watches that I've got prior, this is just fine.
Yeah. But it's cool. I'm glad. I know you've wanted one of those for quite some time.
I have.
And I'm glad that when you originally saw it, did you see it in gold or in stainless?
Saw it in gold. But I was going to get one in gold, but then I started thinking, it's like, I don't wear yellow that much. I'm much more of a white metal kind of guy. So this one showed up. I'm like, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's cool.
So now we'll see if I can get some extra links, and we'll go from there, because it's 16 millimeter lugs, and that's going to be a hard sell.
Oh yeah.
I've got a call into Bulova, and since they do sizing for free on this model and some of their other models, it's like, all right, they should have extra links. And if it is a ladies model and it's going to be on a smaller wrist than mine, we'll see.
Yeah.
So
Alrighty.
what's on the wrist?
Casey, what you got on the wrist? I know. I can see what
So
you got on the wrist.
I'm rocking, in honor of our 1 year anniversary episode, the brand that kind of started it all for us in this channel. I got the Bulova President on. Yeah, I love this watch. I don't know if this case back engraving is going to come through, probably because of this bright light I have.
A little bit.
But anyway,
What is that? JAH?
let's see if you can see that a little better now.
So really kind of an interesting optical litmus test here.
Anywho, so yeah, it's engraved for some scholarship back in '52. JAH, like Mike said, for I guess whoever was the scholarship was for you to go become a CPA. So,
Oh,
that's cool though. The case back engraving stuff, I've kind of turned my opinion on that. I didn't like them that much, but now it's like, all right, there's a real good story that goes with that.
and the monogram engraving in this is actually done really well. Yeah, this definitely wasn't done by machine. This looks like it was done by hand.
do you hear that?
Do we need to pause?
No.
Oh boy.
I need to figure out how to turn it off. There you go.
Is that your
That,
alarm?
ladies and gentlemen, is the alarm for me to win my new watch alert.
Go win your auction there, boo boo.
No, we got 2 minutes and 38 seconds. Surprisingly, still no bids. I don't know.
Damn.
Well, I'll tell you about that in less than 3 minutes here.
Well, so what I'm drinking, and I'm finally happy to look this up, is Mind Haze IPA.
Oh, back on the sauce.
There you go.
Boom.
All right, so I'll go real quick in case I need to stop in a little bit here. I am wearing my Golden Clipper, the Golden Clipper J. So I traveled with 4 watches, even though I'm back home, just got back home. I only have the same 4 watches because all my watches are off location. in case any of our crazy listeners decide to find out where I lived and break into my house and steal everything, they would have been greeted with a shelf full of nothing. And I don't have any alcohol. Everything is gone. Refrigerator is empty, so I'm drinking an Arnold Palmer. Just gonna have to deal with it, Joe.
Well, I'm not feeling too horrible about that because I've got the Oceanographer V with the stunning, beautiful orange dial and the bracelet that is nearly correct. Just signed Bulova bracelet that's works incredibly well on the watch. It's in the same style as like the G's, that sort of bullet bracelet. And I am drinking today
Sparkling water. Nice.
Topo Chico. Because I drank way too much.
Drank way too much yesterday.
Oh man. So what is on tap then, gentlemen? We're talking 1 year anniversary.
Yeah, as Casey just alluded to a minute ago, this is happy anniversary, guys. This is our 1 year anniversary show. Can you believe
what are we supposed to get each other for 1 year anniversary? Is it paper?
Yeah, I think 1 year is paper, right? I don't know. I got you the gift of being able to talk to me one more time. How's that? I give you the gift of myself. But yeah, so actually technically we're 1 year and 1 week. So when you're listening to this, our anniversary is actually December 13th. And I think you're listening to it now on what, the 19th? I think something like that. 27 episodes. Who'd have thought we've made it this far? So kind of today is just a fun little recap, the things we've learned, the people we've talked to, how far we've come. I don't know if either of you have gone back and listened to episode 1 at all.
I haven't.
You should. Here's the challenge, right? Here's the challenge. Go back, listen to episode 1. Tell me how far into the episode you got before you're like, oh, this is horrible, and turn it off.
So be a type of a torture challenge.
Yeah, exactly.
That's funny.
That's what I tell people when I talk to people. And they're like, oh yeah, I listen to the show a couple episodes and be like, well, do me a favor, don't start at the beginning. Work backwards. Go until you can tolerate it, or you can't tolerate it, and then that's a good spot there.
And stop there.
Yep.
Oh man, that's funny. That's funny. I'm gonna have to go back and check that out, I guess.
Yeah, just to amuse yourself. Go back, listen to episode 1. Those are the stories of what was it? The burning house watch and what our collections were, and back when, and we really still don't know what we're doing.
No clue.
I mean, back then we were still just trying to figure out who the hell each other were.
Yeah, really. So, and that's true. This is no joke. So for the listeners who haven't listened since episode 1, now I would say most of our listeners, I would say half of the listeners we have right now are hardcore from the beginning listeners. Everybody else kind of joined in at various other points. But if you don't know the story, so Joe and you and I go back, how many years? 3 years now? 4 years? Something like that. God. And KC had connected with us, like he said, through Bulova. And we were just talking back and forth, messaging, and he said, hey, you guys want to do an online watch meetup? So we can record it for fun, and I have this YouTube channel, and we can just put the video up there so other guys can see, and I just think it would be a cool idea. I'm like, okay, yeah, sure, why not? Some weirdo on the internet wants to sit and talk watches with us, sure, okay.
And then we're already doing anyway.
Well, yeah. So then we started talking about it a little more, and I was like, hey, do you want to just turn this into a regular thing? How about we start a podcast? And then here we are. So that's kind of the origin story.
Not that hard.
It's just, yeah. But I tell you what, it is time consuming.
This is true.
Yeah, it is true. I have great respect for the guys who do this on a weekly basis, or in the case of the Scottish watches, they do it twice a week.
Yeah.
Man. Oh, hey. So can we go back to my new watch alert?
Oh, yeah,
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
you have a new watch alert, Mike?
'Cause I now have a new watch alert. I just bought a Jetstar Stars and Stripes.
Hey, just like the other two.
Just like
Three?
no, just like the other one I have. I only have one in hand. I have quite a few other duplicates. Some are mine, some are other people's that they've sent to me to redo. But this one is the Jetstar. Oh gosh, what would that make it? The 1972 Jetstar B.
Yeah, because the A
It's the
is
Stars and Stripes.
the strange one.
The A is the red and black version. This is the red and blue
Well,
version.
it depends on the year, though, right? Because didn't
But
the A
depends on
change?
depends on the year. So
Right.
but yeah, so this one will be a restoration and sale project. So if you're interested in the 1972 Jetstar B Stars and Stripes, let me know. This one could be yours. So what do you put together a little list of things, Joe, for us? What are we going to talk about?
Well,
here
it's
first?
it's just looking. If we look back over the year, we look back over what we've done. I want to revisit. I want to revisit our New Year's resolutions.
It's
From
been a year. What
if-
have we learned? Got it.
I
Nailed
barely
it.
remember what I did yesterday, let alone what the resolutions I
Well-
vowed not to keep last year.
so this is
Actually.
the thing. Like, Casey and I were talking about it, and his resolution was something along the lines of trying to get down to the perfect 7-watch collection.
Right. So actually, I recall it now. What I wanted for this year was I wanted to reduce my collection. I had like 40 some odd watches, and I wasn't enjoying them as much as I wanted to. It's like I want to reduce and roll them into 7 watches, which I have not fully achieved, but I've made progress on.
All right. So how many do you have now?
Oh, geez. Oh, quick off the hip, I would say, well, there's 10. So I had 17.
See, that's not bad. That's not bad at all, man.
So
Yeah.
so you downsized throughout the year?
Yeah. So
Yeah.
that's honestly how I've been able to afford a lot of this stuff. There's bunches of watches I've just been putting on eBay and moving.
Okay. So you have in your quest for the perfect 7-watch, you've brought some in, decided no, it doesn't really quite fit. You've moved it on. You've done that a few times. Is there
Yeah.
one watch that you look back and you're like, I wish I still had that one actually?
Mm.
I guess the only one that I would say, like, damn, I kind of wish if I hadn't sold it for the money I did. The Seiko I had the AGS Gray Ghost, and it was
Yeah.
pretty much new old stock, really good condition. I sold it for a fair amount more than what I bought it for, so that kind of helped. But I probably won't find another one in that condition.
Yeah. I'm surprised you sold. I didn't know you sold that one. I'm surprised you did because I know you like that one.
Yeah, I liked it, but god dang, what did I fund? I think I might have funded. It was at least half of what I spent on the Breitling. So
Yeah,
Wow.
I think you'll get a lot more wear out of the Breitling too. So I mean, there's a little remorse to it, but it's a decent swap. It's a decent.
yeah, and I think the other thing
Bit
is
of movement.
I'm really enjoying being able to experience other brands and different watches. So that kind of comes with it as well. When I go sell a watch, I put a price as to the enjoyment I got out of it as well.
Well, and then if you can sell it for, considerable amount more, then you enjoyed it for free. In
Yeah.
fact, somebody paid you to enjoy it at that point.
Yeah, there is that. Yes.
Yeah.
And I would say a good majority of my watches I've sold for profit or at least broken even on. I think out of I don't know how many, 20 or so watches, maybe 5 of them I've lost money on, and it really wasn't that much of a loss.
Oh, flipper.
Good for you.
Flipper.
Yeah,
Good
We
for
got a
you,
flipper
man.
here. Hey, don't forget to file your PayPal taxes this year.
Oof.
Oh yeah,
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
Gee whiz.
that's gonna suck.
So what resolution did you make, Joe, that you can remember?
Oh, mine was a 1 in, 1 out.
And how
I failed so miserably at that. I can't even. Oh, it's bad. It's bad.
Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I went through a 666 spree and I ended up with a bunch of new and interesting pieces throughout the year. And man, I'm running out of room.
You
It's a
ran out of
problem.
things to kick out in order to get in.
Pretty close. You know, I'm looking at my watch box, and I'm looking at the stuff that I've got. It's like there's not a lot of things that are left to move anymore, which is kind
Not
of
that you're willing to
unfortunate.
part with, at least.
Yeah, there's not much. I mean, now getting this, or not this, getting this one in, it's like I can probably move some other stuff, you know, because it'll fill in a niche that I've got. So there's some neat pieces in that space, but we'll have to see. I'm not making that. I don't think I'm going to make that resolution. I don't think it's going to work.
I'd love to see what our resolutions are for next year.
Well, it won't be that. I'm going to
yeah, which we're going to have to do for next episode. We're going to have to throw in some resolutions. Yeah. So now that we're talking about them, it's kind of coming back to me a little bit. I think one of mine was to buy with purpose this year, because you had posed the challenge to me to complete the Jetstar collection.
Yeah.
Which I had, and both of you know that I was very much on a mission to find the next piece, and so I did, and for quite a while there, I was buying with purpose. You know, the occasional odd piece here and there, and then somebody had just asked me fairly recently, now that that's done, what am I going to focus on? And I don't know really what that answer is. I think
you've it's no Jetstar left behind.
Well, yeah. What did you tell me the other day? I have a Jetstar what?
Jetstar Restoration Complex.
Yeah, that's what it was. Yeah. I'm breathing in new life into these watches, I guess. But for purchasing, I mean, I bought things like this, like the Golden Clipper, and so I think I'll just get into a couple of funky pieces again, see what I can find, whatever, comes across, and go from there. I'm trying to sell some stuff.
That's that. So the next part of the question is like, have your habits changed? And
no, I don't think so. No. My habits haven't. I'm still in the same niche, same space. I'm still buying the same stuff.
No, but Casey, this is it's an interesting thing, because you spent not quite half the year, but close, right? You were at school for 5 months.
Yeah.
And so like we didn't have you around for a solid chunk of what we were going through, and we were doing all the recordings and whatnot. And so what's your takeaway from that, other than your upgrades and your
geez, so
because you ended up with some really cool pieces through that time.
Yeah, well, all right, so I did buy a lot of crap, and in part, like, that school sucked. That was some soul crushing BS. I deeply hated it, but when I was so stressed out during all that, my outlet was watches, so I just like, oh, what, solid gold Rolex, my brain's turned off, let's go do this. But that is where I'd say I've changed. So I think when we started out, I was like, man, gold watches are dumb. I think they're lame. Dress watches suck. And now I've got
look at you now,
Rolex, and I got this gold-ish. It's gold filled. And now I love gold. Now I'm like, this is a pretty awesome look.
You know what? With him talking about that, now I know what one of my resolutions is going to be for next year. I won't say it. I'll save it. Hopefully I can remember it.
Okay, is it to get a solid gold watch? What?
No. Okay, so I'll say it. So my resolution, and Joe, you can hold me to it, is I will buy an Art Deco watch.
Ooh.
Because we've talked about it. You know my feelings on them. I will make the resolution that over the next year, at a certain point, I will look for and buy an Art Deco piece.
All right. We'll
see. we'll see if how I like it. We'll see how often I wear it, and we'll see how long it lasts in the collection.
That's an interesting challenge for you.
It
That's a
is.
real
Honestly,
interesting challenge for you.
we should do an episode on that alone because I personally, I have a love-hate with Art Deco as well. So not just any Art Deco watch will do. It'd have to be something special.
Well, and see, it's not the Art Deco piece itself. I love as an art form. They really are beautiful watches, really fantastic. But it just doesn't fit what I look for in a watch, and I just feel like I would not appreciate it and enjoy it as much as I probably should to be able to purchase one. And that's why I don't have one.
I mean, good thing they're like $50.
Well, yeah, I guess. So we'll see. That's the challenge. That's the resolution that I'm posing for myself for next year. This next year.
I'm curious. I'm very curious about that. That's an interesting challenge for yourself, Mike. I'm proud. I'm proud of you, Mike.
Are you?
Dude, there's some
Okay.
really cool ones I've been looking at that have like case engravings throughout the front of it.
So yeah, all the filigree and stuff. Here's the thing. So our friend Lewis is a huge Art Deco collector, huge collector of them. And he'll every couple of weeks he'll send me a picture with 3 or 4 and be like, oh, look what came in, or look what I got last week, and look at this one. I'll be like, oh, I like that one in that picture there. He's like, oh yeah, that one's super rare. This is only the second one I've ever seen, and I paid this much money for it. I'm like, well, see, this is why I don't have one. Because the stuff I like apparently you can't find.
Oh yeah.
But see, you know a guy. Here it is. So
Yeah.
Lewis,
I don't think he's willing to part with many of his Art Deco stuff though.
you never know because he has like 5 of each. So
Yeah. So what's next? What's coming up? Okay, hold on. Let's go back. Thinking from the show, what did we each take away from the show? Was it did it teach you something? Did you come to love something about it? Was it somebody in particular that you connected with, like a guest that we had on? Like what over this past year did you guys take away from the show? And if you want, I'll go first and set an
you
example.
should go first because
Okay, so the biggest highlight of this year for we'll call it season 1 of the Spring Bar podcast was forging the Bulova Watch Company relationship and really coming out with the friendship with Michael Benavente, because it started from the charity auction. That's when we really connected with Bulova, and it kind of went from there. And through it, we've talked with Michael, and we've talked with Joe. You have regular conversations with Richard.
yeah.
Casey, you're getting in touch with Sam over at the Veterans
Yeah.
Watchmakers Initiative. So we're getting these relationships within that company, and I think for us to be able to do that, we're such a small time show. It just blew me away, the whole experience with them. And this is just the beginning. I mean, we have a lot of stuff in the works, and we've been saying that, and that's another thing too that I want to bring up. We've been saying that we're going to be doing these things with Bulova, and what it hasn't come to fruition just yet. Stuff is working, but slowly. But when you're dealing with these guys where they're traveling the globe doing various things, and they're the latest collaboration they did was Mark Anthony, so they're busy with him, and they're busy coming out with new designs, and so it's hard to nail down everybody on their schedule to be able to want to sit down with 3 Joe Schmoes and record some stuff. But things are moving forward. They are. It's just it takes a little bit of time, especially when you deal with a company as large as Bulova. But we're happy to bide our time. One day we'll come out with this stuff, and it'll be cool stuff. So
Yeah, I'd love to actually
takeaway.
talk to them. I unfortunately missed out having to go to that school, but
Yeah.
it is.
So, well, hopefully, because Michael had said that the next time he comes on, he'll have some more surprises in that. So, I know their spring line, I think, is set to come out somewhere April, May-ish. So maybe we can have him back on and do kind of like a spring line reveal type of thing. So that's my takeaway from this year of podcasting. I mean, I've learned a lot of other things. I've learned how to edit shows, and that's a big thing. I didn't know how to edit a video to save my soul, but with Casey being gone, kind of was forced into that situation, and I enjoy it, editing episodes. So
I'm glad you do, because I do not.
Yeah, no, Joe did not volunteer from that.
No.
So those are my takeaways. Who's next? Who's got some takeaways? Let's not all go at once.
All right. So part of what I've come to realize, and just to really get into doing more stuff with some of the meetups in my local area, and realizing, what's going on with the collector space, and then kind of just putting some of those things together, realizing that the ability to reach out and have conversations with almost anybody from a design level and a production level, that the camaraderie that you get from the watch collector often translates directly to the company and the people who work in the companies. They have a very similar level of passion and a very similar level of interest in most things having to do with watches. So it's kind of neat to be able to go and have a conversation with somebody who's running a watch company, who's interested in what's your take on this, or and also the part that's fascinating to me. You look at the levels of collecting. So I brought my son to some of the meetups that I go to, and he's the hit of the meetup. Everybody wants to come over and talk to him. Everybody, and here's a guy who's got on a Tiffany signed rose gold 5711, and he's more interested in my son's swatch. Like that's I can't beat that. I can't beat that. I think that's a fantastic tribute to sort of the way that this brings people together.
Yeah, for sure. The Bulva just did a evening with what is it? Complecto. That's what I'm drawing a blank. But when you go and look at their pages, their web page, their Instagram, they make it very known that it doesn't matter what you wear, what you bring to the table, whether you're wearing an Apple Watch or, like you said, you're wearing that super rare Tiffany signed, 5711, or the Swatch or a Seiko or anything. You're there to appreciate the fact that you're with other people enjoying the same hobby. And then,
yeah.
And I think I said it in the very beginning, in the first couple of episodes, this hobby is one of the greatest for camaraderie and for people reaching out to one another and having genuine conversations. And while there is some of the keyboard warriors things that are going on, as a whole, a great group of people to be a part of. I thoroughly enjoy it.
It's interesting. It's interesting because you see it, having gone to watch a soccer game the other day. Everybody there you're all there for the same reason. You're there for the same team. The watch world, you don't have the Seiko fans lining up against the Rolex fans and they're going to have it out at a meetup. It's not like that. And it's really interesting because, and I don't know if it's a hallmark of the hobby where just, you're collecting and you may have gone through that phase. I don't know if it's there's an evolution to the hobby or evolution to the collecting. Whereas, you start off with 40 watches and you bring it down to 7, or you collect with purpose, whatever. Everybody's kind of on a slightly different journey, I guess. But you still don't, you rarely run into somebody who's a real jerk at a meetup, at least not in person. Yeah. So I've always found that to be kind of fascinating.
Well, what's kind of cool is, like you said, we're all on different paths and journeys, but it's more or less we all like the same thing. We all like watches. And I think for the next guy to look over and just be like, damn, that's a nice watch, I think we all can kind of appreciate that as a general thing.
Well, yeah. So you're on your 7 watch journey, Joe's on his 6 to 6 journey. You know, I'm on a different journey. And it's not like, oh, why do you only want 7 watches, KC? That's ridiculous. I have 60 watches. You need to have as many as I do. It's like, hey, what do you got next? What's leaving? What's coming in? It's like, you know, you have a story, a continuing story going.
And everybody's on your side too.
Yeah.
Like,
Right.
like,
I mean,
oh,
yeah.
7?
So like, you know, it's weird. Like the Bulova Jetstar one, I didn't know even existed, right? But as soon as you talked about it, next thing you know, I'm like #1 cheerleader. I'm like, holy shit, this is really cool. We need to see this happen. And
Yeah.
I think I think about this a lot. Like my neighbor has a Honda Civic that he's souping up, and sometimes I'm like, this is some BS. I hate the way your car sounds. But then at the same time, I look at the passion this man is out there tinkering on it, and I'm like, I can't even be mad. Like you like that car so much, and I enjoy that you enjoy it. It's kind of the same thing with watches.
Yeah. The price of entry is so low. And
well, it depends
on
what your entry is.
Honestly,
some of these watches can cost more than that Honda Civic.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. But you know, the guys that I go to these meetups with, like, you know, you come in with a Timex, particularly like you came in like this is the same Timex that I had when I was a kid. You've won the meetup.
Well, yeah, like look at that Timex Standard, the Timex Omega that I just got. I've seen quite a few of them pop up on Instagram. Everybody's like, "Oh, that's really neat. Oh, that looks like this. Oh, look at that strap on there." It's like everybody's talking about it. And what did it cost me? $71.
Yeah, right. So it's not
for cheap. For well under $100, you can have fun. You can start conversations with something.
Sure.
My takeaway from this is maybe not so much a lesson learned or something, but the relationships I've built with other people, especially other veterans. Like big shout out to Jason from Watch Rolling or Alex from Army and Time. Those guys I've got a pretty good relationship with just through chatting on Instagram. I've made connections with Steve from Reserve Watch Adventures. He's a really cool guy. And then my #1 favorite meetup that I've had so far is with Watches and Warfighters. Cool guy, slightly jaded E4 Mafia member, out in the middle of wherever the hell he's stationed, and he's just putting on some like really cool content. It's just cool to talk with these guys.
Like everybody's got their own little take and their own slant on what it is that we do. There's some really interesting stuff that's coming out of when you look through like the veteran side of things, or just getting into military watches in general. Yeah. So it's nobody. You reach out to somebody, even if you're doing it through Instagram or you're doing it through, you know, through almost any facet, you most often you're going to get a response.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And like people are really generous with their time. They're generous with their knowledge. It's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. We're all just excited that somebody else wants to geek out with us.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah, that's all it is. So what's next for all of us? Where do we go from here?
Well, I'm probably going to go to bed. So I've been making these little reels, these really short, like almost less than 5 minutes at times. I really enjoy doing that. I need to get more regimented with it. I'd like to do something for the show as well, because I want to be the more spontaneous and energetic of us, throwing out some different crazy content. Like, I don't know. I feel like I'm the more, I don't know, loud of the three. And I kind of want that as well for the show.
Well,
right.
You had mentioned to me the other day that our Instagram is lackluster. Feels,
I would say
what did you
clinical.
Say?
I feel
clinical
like
and sterile. Yeah. And you know what? I agree with him 100%. I do.
Very rubber glove.
There was a time where I was doing, you know, like the outtakes and the previews and things like that. And people seem to like those, and I kind of got away from it. It just, just life was getting busy, and it does take up time. But it was fun to do, and I think it just kind of gave everybody a little something, on our off weeks, if you will. But yeah, I welcome that idea for sure to do these little videos and things.
It would definitely bring that fun element back, and then we just keep it going.
Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely one thing to work on this next year. I think is getting the Instagram, getting the followers up. The more followers we have, the more people we have to touch with the show, and more listeners we're going to get, and so. Well, go ahead, Joe. You go. What do you want to see?
It's
And I'll get into
it's
some
kind of,
stuff.
I don't know. I really don't. I don't have that kind of. Maybe I don't have that kind of vision. I don't know. It doesn't, like, for just thinking about where we are and what we could do. Raising the profile just seems to be kind of it. It's like to get more people
That's
paying attention.
probably a good goal. Good to not be overly ambitious.
That's it. That's it. I
Yeah,
just,
if we
I just
can
want,
increase
I want to be able to share with some
followers,
people.
increase the interactive. That's what that would be awesome. If we get more interaction.
Yeah.
Yeah, the interaction. That's where we want to get. So I want to see a couple things happen with the show. I want to grow our listenership. I have no problems telling everybody we're a small show. We all know that. We keep saying that. And when I say we're a small show, we on average have 35 audio downloads and roughly about the same 34, 35 YouTube downloads per episode. Maybe not within, the first 2 weeks, but given, a period of time, the numbers do get up to that point. So let's just call it 60 to 70 listeners per episode. And that's fantastic. And I never would have thought that we would have had 30 people listening to our show. But it's cool that we're providing entertainment for everybody. The three goofy guys that
Maybe
came out
not
of
this
Instagram,
episode, but
maybe not this episode. Yes.
You ever think of it this way? Some people were like, "Oh man, I only got 30 likes on my photo." How would you feel if 30 people just stormed into a room and went, "Wow, that's really cool," and just walked away? Like you'd be like,
Yeah.
"Holy shit, that was 30 people."
Yeah, right. Doesn't seem like a lot until you put it in that perspective. But it's cool that people take, an hour to an hour and a half out of their days and listen to, just our shenanigans and some people, the thing that gets me is an episode will go live at midnight. And when I wake up Monday morning at 9 o'clock, there's already people that have listened to it and downloaded it because so I'm going to give you some stats here. We're kind of like end of year stats that Spotify was doing. So we, according to them, because we're in the leisure and hobby category for podcasters, we are creating more content than 89% of all the other creators within our category. Now, that's not to say other watch podcasts, but just within the leisure and hobby category.
Is that good?
I would think so.
Okay.
We're doing pretty good, I guess. Spotify says so.
It's okay.
We are worldwide. We have been listened to in 17 countries this past year. Our top 5 countries are here in the United States, United Kingdom, Denmark, Norway, and Australia. Let's see. We are, how do I word this? It says your podcast was in the top 15% most shared globally. We are a top 10 podcast for 48 listeners. We're a top 5 podcast for 37 listeners. And for 16 of our illustrious fans, we are number 1.
16.
But again, I didn't think that we were going to have 16 people total. But when you hear some of those numbers and the countries that we're in, what was it? We were in 17 countries and 70 cities across the world. It's like, come on, who would have thought? Really? Who would have thought? So I want to continue that. I want to keep it growing. I'd like to get more listeners. We're not going to get overly serious with the show. We're not going to turn into, okay, this is what we need to do. This is how we're going to blah, blah, blah. I mean, we're going to keep doing our thing. We're going to keep, poking fun at each other and having fun doing this. But I would like to somehow find a way and hopefully, through Casey's videos, we can get the interaction up, and the more followers we get on Instagram, the more people are more willing to listen to us. But my big thing, so when we started talking about it, I said to you guys, I said, if we do a podcast, I'll get Bulva. And what happened? We got Bulova. We started a relationship. We're working with them. So then we're going to continue doing that. Super excited about that. Now, the next thing I want to do next year is I want to do some kind of a collab. If we can collab on a watch with a brand, if we can collab on a strap, if we can collab on a watch roll, something watch related, I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, spring bars.
Spring
Oh, that's awesome. That'd be great. Oh my God.
Yeah.
Variety of colors.
Lose us
yeah.
on the carpet.
Funny. Oh, that's
Yeah, they're
great.
bright orange, so when they ping across the room, you can go find them.
You can find
Yeah,
them.
you can find them. But that's what I'd like to see happen within this next year. I'd like to do some kind of a collab with somebody. So if you're listening and you have a brand and you would like us to work with you on it, or if you know somebody that has a brand and you know, in conversation they say that they're looking for somebody to work with, we're also looking.
Where are you guys?
So we'll see what happens. But that's what I'd like to see over the next year.
We'll plug it to our 16 listeners.
Well, our 16 number one listeners.
Very
We got
true.
40.
In the end, thank you, Joe and Casey. I mean, you guys have made this fun. It has been a journey. I don't want to stop doing this anytime soon. I hope our listeners don't want us to stop doing this anytime soon. So I'm looking forward to another year with you guys. I really am looking forward to see, you know, what happens next and just having some fun and whatever
Yeah, who
topics
knows?
we got coming up.
Maybe I'll have a final verdict on 7 watches.
That's a pretty worthy goal, man. I mean, like, it's just that might be something that you could take a look at, because I don't think that you need to have all 7, but if you could kind of narrow down where you want to go
Yeah,
with it.
or maybe at least like redefine parameters, because I am running into issues like gifted watches. I can't really get rid of those.
Yeah.
Stuff like that. But that's for another topic.
That's a whole episode right there. That's a fantastic topic too.
Mhm. All right.
So
So
we talking about this these results.
last call. Yep.
Last
call. So we are talking the one watch challenge for what is it? The month of January? Is that what we
Month
said
of
it was?
January.
Yeah,
All
put
right,
your
let me-
or your wrist chastity belts on.
Let me pull up the results here. So everybody kind of went pretty good on the voting. All right. So up first was Joe. Your options were the Caravelle Sea Hunter Lollipop Edition
Yes.
and the Bulova Deep Sea Chronograph.
Yes.
Okay. To your disappointment, with 60% of the vote was the Deep Sea Chronograph.
I was pretty upset by that too.
Okay. Now I have a question.
All right.
It's a vintage watch.
Yeah.
If it breaks, am I off the hook?
Then
You go to the backup. You go to the Sea Hunter Lollipop.
Okay.
No, you just wear a non-running watch the rest of the month.
That's the question. Like, do I wear this dead husk of a
That would suck.
chronograph, or
I don't think anyone wants to see that.
Yeah. No. You go to the backup.
okay. Go to the back.
All right.
Fair.
So-
All right.
Casey, his options were the Breitling Aerospace
Yeah.
and the Boone Annie Digi.
Yeah.
And not to my surprise, I don't know if you guys are shocked by this, but with 70% of the vote, he's holding up there.
Yeah.
Breitling Aerospace. I cannot blame the
No.
listeners for picking that one. I would love to wear that watch for a month.
All right.
Yeah,
So,
I'm pretty happy. That was
It's going to work out for you.
yeah, that worked out.
yeah, sucks to be KC right now, doesn't it? And then finally, my options were the Bulova Lunar Pilot and the Seiko Comax watch mod. And it was a pretty close race for most of the voting. It was pretty split 50-50, but in the end, 62% of the vote was the Bulova Lunar Pilot.
Which
Well,
is good. That'll be fun. I think that'll be cool.
which I think I can get pretty far with that. I am not promising the full 31 days, but I think I can get through quite a bit of those days.
Interesting.
I'm gonna focus on strap options, really.
Yeah, that's gonna be the next step.
So here's the thing: all three of our watches take 20 millimeter straps.
That's what they do.
Ooh.
So we can do one of two things. We can purchase a unique 20 millimeter strap to put on our pieces and see how we like it, or we could purchase something for each other.
Huh.
Joe, you buy for Casey, Casey buys for me, and I buy for Joe.
Ooh.
We Amazon it to each other, and
Okay.
we put it on. It doesn't
Done.
have to stay on that full time, but we have to do a review on whatever watch,
Sure.
and you
Done.
don't get a choice on it. It's whatever we feel should go on your watch.
And then potentially, if we want to trade it out with each other for like, yo, this sucks, then maybe we talk among each other and be like, hey, swap. You know.
Swap.
Okay, we
Could
can
be
do that.
interesting.
Okay.
All right, so
I'm down.
so this week we each have to go on Amazon. We pick one. So Joe, you're picking for Casey.
It's gonna be U.S. Navy.
Casey's
Great.
picking for my lunar pilot, and I'm picking for Joe's deep sea. So do you want to put a price limit on it? How much? $20, $25?
25. That'd be good.
$25. You can get a decent strap for $25.
Yeah.
You can even find some bracelets for $25.
You can.
Yeah. And then we just Amazon it to each other, easiest way,
Okay.
and we'll go from there. A little added extra fun.
Gotcha. That's gonna be good. That's good.
Yeah, that'll be fun.
Casey's gonna hate me. This is fantastic.
All right. Anybody else got a last call?
No, that's all I got.
Anything, Joe? Nothing?
I got nothing.
All right.
I got
So
nothing.
I just want to take a second. I want to thank all of our guests that we
Yes.
I don't want to name anybody individually because I probably will forget somebody, and I don't want to think that, we don't think that highly of you. But to everybody that's been on the show as a special guest, anybody that's had any kind of interaction with us, anybody that's voted on any of our polls or interacted with any sort of way, from the bottom of our hearts, thank you very much. You guys are what keep us doing this every week, that give us the drive to just bring, the fun, goofy, silly content. And hopefully you stick around for another year and see what we have to do. So again, thank you to everybody that's been a part of our show for the last year.
Well, how they get in touch with us, Mike? Who are we? What's going on?
So, gentlemen, this evening we are the Spring Bar Podcast. You can find us on Instagram at the Spring Bar Podcast. You can email us, thespringbarpodcast@gmail.com. On a personal level, I am 120 clicks, all spelled out, one long word, 120 clicks. Joe?
I am Watch Taylor Youth, all one word, all spelled out. That's me, Casey.
I am time.hack1636.
And you can hashtag us at the Spring Bar Podcast. Please, we would love to see anything that you've got that's watch related or even unwatch related, for that matter. If you have some strap suggestions that all of us should take a look at for each other. Oh yeah. Drop it in a hashtag.
There you go.
Tag us on it.
Definitely.
We'll
I'll be trolling the show account if I don't see anything.
Yeah.
I need help.
All right, gentlemen. Until next
I'll
year,
be us in. Just
when we do our year 2 wrap up.
All right. Cheers.